Good morning, dear students. Today it is the day of our English class. In the last class, we have started a new lesson in English, that is an unusual birthday gift. Actually, when we say about a birthday gift, you may be thinking about many kinds of gift that you may have received at the time of your birthday. But here in this chapter, the birthday gift, actually it is not a gift at all, but it is a letter instead of the gift that was written by Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. I told you in the last class, he was our first Prime Minister, and he wrote this letter to his daughter Indira. She also was our ex-Prime Minister when she was a child. When she was a child, she was called Indira. Now we will call her Indira Gandhi. Then, anyhow, at the time of her birthday, her father, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, was in the prison, and from the prison, he was unable to give or hand over any gift to his daughter. So, what he did, he wrote a letter by saying birthday wishes and also by saying what some advices or by giving some advices to his daughter on her birthday. And there he says about a traveler from China who came to India for getting knowledge and wisdom, and he says it was Huang Sang, and he was saying about him in that letter. There we stopped in the last class. I think you might have read the book or the part repeatedly. Look, as it is English, you have to read repeatedly. Language skills can be acquired only by reading, writing, listening, and also by saying things. Okay. So, all the students must read the chapters repeatedly, then only you will be familiar with the new words and some usages and everything. Okay. So, I think you will do so. Okay. Now, we can move to the next paragraph. There we stopped in the last class. Okay. So, all the students, please open your textbook and take or see the next topic or next paragraph that we have to study. Now, look this paragraph, just look at the lines. Later, he wrote a book of his travels, and it is this book which contains the story that comes to my mind. It is about a man from South India who came to Karnasuvarna, which was a city somewhere near modern Bhagalpur in Bihar. And this man, it is written, wore round his waist copper plates, and on his head he carried a lighted torch. Staff in hand, with proud bearing and lofty steps, he wandered about in this strange attire. And when anyone asked him the reason for his curious get-up, he told him that his wisdom was so great that he was afraid his belly would burst if he did not wear copper plates round it. And because he was moved with pity for the ignorant people round about him who lived in darkness, he carried the light on his head. That is the paragraph. So, we can see line by line. Later, he wrote a book of his travels. Nehru is saying to his daughter that about a person we discussed in the last class, and he is saying he wrote a book of his travel. We see or we saw in that paragraph that he came to India by suffering many kinds of difficulties and problems, he reached here. Then he wrote a book of his travels, and it is this book which contains the story that comes to my mind. Nehru is saying to his daughter that the story from that book is coming to my mind. Then it is about a man from South India. So, in that book, he wrote about a man from South India who came to Karnasuvarna. So, that person came to a place called Karnasuvarna, which was a city somewhere near modern Bhagalpur in Bihar. No, it is in Bhagalpur in Bihar. Okay, such a place. Then, and this man, it is written, wore round. The person who wrote that story, who wore means wore. Wearing the dress, the past tense is wore round his waist means our hip region, means the place where we tie our pant, hip region. There he wore what? Copper plates. So that person wore copper plates, and on his head he carried a lighted torch. Imagine a person, at the place where we tie our belt, in that region, that person wore a copper plate. Then a flat sheet of copper. Then on the head he is carrying a torch every time. Then staff in hand. Staff means it is a stick. Old people's grandfather, grandmother, while walking, they will wear a stick. That is what is called, for getting a support. That is what is called staff. So this person is having a copper plate in his hip region, means his waist, and a torch on the head, and a staff, a stick in the hand. Then with proud bearing and lofty step. Then by having all these, bearing means character or behavior. By wearing all this with proud bearing. Proud means what do we say? Thinking that I am the great, such a behavior. So proud bearing and lofty. Lofty means big. So with by wearing a copper plate on the belly region, or hip region, or waist region, and a torch on the head and a stick in the hand, by having all these, he is thinking, I am the great, or I am the hero. Like that, he is. That is the with the proud bearing and lofty step. Lofty means thinking that biggest. He wandered about in this strange attire. His dressing is like this. Really, we will say like a madman. So attire means dress. In this dress, he wandered about. He walked here and there in all the places. And when anyone asked him the reason for his curious get-up, curious means this kind of funny, or what do we say, vigorous step get-up. So for this, why you are walking and behaving and wearing like this, if anybody is asking, he told him that his wisdom was so great. He will say to such persons, if they are asking why you are like this, if anybody is asking, so he will say, or he will tell them what? His wisdom. Wisdom means his knowledge is that much great. That means he is having that much great knowledge. That is why he is wearing so. Okay, and he will say one more thing, his belly would burst if he did not wear copper plates around it. His belly means his big stomach. He will say his stomach will break down. Burst means break down. So if he didn't wear copper plates, that is why he tied the belly with the copper plate. Really foolish man. Then, and because he was moved with pity for the ignorant people. Ignorant people means the people having no knowledge, or the people having less knowledge. He is saying he have great knowledge, and he felt pity. Pity means what do we say? He felt kindness to other peoples with low or with no knowledge. Then who lived in darkness. He is thinking other people with no knowledge, they are in darkness, they don't know anything. Then he carried the light on his head. That's why he carried a torch, a light on his head. This is the first paragraph. So here Nehru is saying about that person, a man who read or who read in the story, then how was that man was explained. Really look, that man carried a light on the head and he covered his waist, means the place where we tie our belt, no, that region, that place is called waist. There he covered with a copper plate and he is having a stick on the hand, and with this all he is walking with a proudness like a king. He is walking. When people asks him, why you are like this, or why you are wearing such a dress, or why you are wearing such a light, or why you are wearing such a copper plate on the stomach, he will say to that people what his belly would burst or broken down if he not tied it, and he is having that much great knowledge. That is why he is walking so. And the light is for what? Other people coming around him. They have no knowledge. They are ignorant people. They have no knowledge. So for them, to help them, he is carrying what? A light. They are living in darkness. Living in darkness means they have no knowledge at all. They don't know anything. So a light. He is thinking that he can show the light to them. So such a foolish person. Anyhow, this is the first paragraph that we have to teach or we have to take today. Then we can move to the next paragraph. Look, well, I am quite sure that there is no danger of my ever bursting with too much wisdom, and so there is no need for me to wear copper plates or armor. Nehru is saying, well, no, whatever it may be, whatever the story may be, well, I am quite sure, means I am sure that there is no danger of my ever bursting. He is saying, in my case, there is no danger of bursting my stomach with too much wisdom. He is saying he is having too much knowledge, and he is saying because of that too much knowledge, his belly or stomach may be broken. He says, that man says like that. But Nehru says, in his case, there is no such fear. He is quite sure that there is no danger. Danger, there is no danger of my ever bursting with too much wisdom. Nehru says, with my knowledge, my stomach or my belly will not be bursted, so there is no danger. And so there is no need for me to wear copper plate or armor. So he says, Nehru says to his daughter, there is no need in my case of wearing copper plate or armor. Armor means the metal shield that soldiers they will wear at the time of war or when they are in duty to protect their body. Such metal shield is called armor. Sometimes padachetta, something like that. That is what is called armor. So Nehru says to his daughter, there is no need of wearing such copper plate or armor. That means my stomach or my belly will not be broken because of the knowledge. Actually, you think that person says a foolish thing. If you are having more knowledge, that knowledge it will be there in your stomach? No. But that person is saying so. Nehru says there is no fear, no danger of my ever bursting with too much wisdom, and so there is no need for me to wear copper plate or armor. So I have not that much knowledge, and if there is knowledge also, my stomach or belly will not be broken, and because of that there is no need of copper plate or armor. Okay. Then this is the second paragraph. Next paragraph, look. If I am so limited in wisdom, how can I pose as a wise man and distribute good advice to others? And so I have always thought that the best way to find out what is right and what is not right, what should be done and what should not be done, is not by giving a sermon, but by talking and discussing, and out of discussion sometimes a little bit of the truth comes out. Look, this is the very important paragraph. If I am so limited in wisdom, Nehru is asking, or Nehru is saying to his daughter, if I am so limited in wisdom, no, Nehru says he has not that much knowledge to burst the belly. So if I am so limited as my knowledge is less, how can I pose as a wise man? How can I pose means posing for a photo, or how can imitate, or how can I pretend? What? How can I pose? We will say pose for a photo. Or how can I stand as a wise man and distribute good advice? And how can I give good advice to others? And so I have always thought that the best way to find out what is right and what is not right. So he is saying, I always thought, most of the time he thought that the best way means the correct way to find what? To find out what is right and what is not right. No, the correct way to find out what is right and what is not right, or what should be done and what should not be done. To understand which is the correct way is not by giving a sermon. It is not by giving an advice, or not by giving a speech, or not by giving a talk, then but by talking and discussing, no, speaking or talking and discussing with others. And out of the discussion, when we conduct a discussion, out of the discussion sometimes a little bit of the truth comes out. Nehru says, when individually, if Nehru itself if he is giving some advice or speak to anyone, so that is not the correct way. But if we are speaking and discussing, or talking and discussing with others, during the discussion, what will happen? A little bit of the truth comes out. Nehru says so. So that is the correct way of what? Giving advice. Instead of giving advice, so what is right and what is not right, what can be done, or what should be done, or what should not be done. To understand the correct things here, the better way, best way is what? Talking and discussing with others. So while we conduct, or while we have the discussion, what will happen? A little bit of the truth comes out. Nehru says to his daughter. Next, I have liked my talks with you, and we have discussed many things. But the world is wide, and beyond our world lie other wonderful, mysterious world. Nehru says to Indira Gandhi, what he says, I have liked my talks with you. No, he is talking through the letter to his daughter. So he says, I have liked my talks with you, and we have discussed many things. Through the letter, they discussed many things. But the world is wide. Nehru says, the world is wide. What we discussed is not only the things, many other things are there. He is saying, the world is wide, and beyond our world, apart our world, lie other wonderful and mysterious world. Apart our discussed things, many other things are there. He says so. So none of us. Then move to the next page. So none of us need ever be bored or imagine like the very foolish and conceited person whose story Huyang Sang has told us. Actually that story was told by Huyang Sang about the person came from South India. So are you thinking that the person is actually a wise man or clever man? No, he is really a foolish man. So who is saying? Nehru is saying, no one need not be bored or imagine like the very foolish, conceited person whose story Huyang Sang told us. Huyang Sang told about a person. So like such a person, or like that person, no one is to be bored, boring. No need of boring, no need of any imagination. Imagination of what that is coming? That he have learned everything. That person is saying he learned everything, and his stomach or belly is full of knowledge or wisdom that will be burst. Because of that, he covered his belly with what? A copper plate. No need of thinking so, no need of imagining so. So that he have learned everything worth learning and become very wise. He is thinking he learned everything, he became, as learning is worthful, means useful learning, and he became the wise man. No need of thinking so. Okay, so the world is wide, and beyond or apart our world there is another wonderful and very beautiful world is there. So no one is to be bored, no one is to be imaginated. Everyone can get or achieve our goal. Don't think like that person. He is saying to Indira Gandhi or Indira these kinds of advices and better or valuable points. So anyhow, as we discussed many points, today we can stop here. So dear students, here learning and understanding and getting fluent in reading, that are the main points that you have to remember now, and the main new words that is given in a different color so that you can note down in your notebook. Then that words meaning or explanations that you have to study very well. English, so reading is very much important. So be punctual and practice reading and try to be fluent in English. Okay, try to speak English whenever it is possible to you. Okay, thank you. Today we can stop here. So we can see in the next class. Thank you. Have a nice day.